Revelation chapter 13. As I stood on the sandy beach, I saw a beast coming up out of the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads. On his horns he had 10 royal crowns, and blasphemous titles on his heads. And the beast that I saw resembled a leopard, but his feet were like those of a bear, and his mouth was like that of a lion. And to him the dragon gave his own might and power, and his own throne and great dominion. And one of these heads seemed to have a deadly wound, but his death stroke was healed. And the whole earth went after the beast in amazement and admiration. They fell down and paid homage to the dragon, because he had bestowed on the beast all his domination and authority, all his dominion and authority. They also praised and worshipped the beast, exclaiming, "Who is a match for the beast, and who can make war against him?" And the beast was given the power of speech, uttering boastful and blasphemous words, and he was given freedom to exert his authority and to exercise his will during 3.5 years. And he opened his mouth to speak slanders against God, blaspheming his name and his abode, even vilifying those who live in heaven. He was further permitted to wage war on God's holy people, the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given to him to extend his authority over every tribe and people and tongue and nation. And all the inhabitants of the earth will fall down in adoration and pay him homage, everyone whose name has not been recorded in the book of life of the Lamb that was slain and sacrificed from the foundation of the world. If anyone is able to hear, let him listen. Whoever leads into captivity will himself go into captivity. If anyone slays with the sword he must be slain. Herein is the call for the patience and the faith and fidelity of the saints, God's people. Then I saw another beast rising up out of the land itself. He had 2 horns like a lamb, and he roared like a dragon. He exerts all the power and right of control of the former beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell upon it to exalt and deify the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, and to worship him. He performs great signs, startling miracles, even making fire fall from the sky to the earth in men's sight. And because of the signs, miracles which he is allowed to perform in the presence of the first beast, he deceives those who inhabit the earth, commanding them to erect a statue in the likeness of the beast, who was wounded by the small sword and still lives. And he's permitted also to impart the breath of life into the beast's image, so that the statue of the beast could actually talk and cause to be put to death those who would not bow down and worship the image of the beast. Also he compels all alike, both small and great, both the rich and the poor, both free and slave, to be marked with an inscription stamped on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that no one will have power to buy or sell unless he bears the stamp, the mark, inscription, that is the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is room for discernment, a call for the wisdom of interpretation. Let anyone who has intelligence, penetration, and insight enough calculate the number of the beast, for it is a human number, the number of a certain man. His number is 666. Then I looked, and behold, the Lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 men, who had his name and his father's name inscribed on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, like the sound of great waters, and like the rumbling of mighty thunder. The voice I heard seemed like the music of harpists accompanying themselves on their harps. And they sang a new song before the throne of God, and before the 4 living creatures, and before the elders of the heavenly Sanhedrin. No one could learn to sing that song except the 144,000 who had been ransomed, purchased, redeemed from the earth. These are they who have not defiled themselves by relations with women, for they are pure as virgins. These are they who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These are they who have been ransomed, purchased, redeemed from among men as the first fruits for God and the Lamb. No lie was found to be on their lips, for they are blameless, spotless, untainted, without blemish before the throne of God. And I saw another angel flying in midair with an eternal gospel, good news, to tell to the inhabitants of the earth, to every race and tribe and language and people. And he cried with a mighty voice, "Revere God and give him glory, honor and praise and worship, for the hour of his judgment has arrived. Fall down before him, pay him homage and adoration, and worship him who created heaven and earth, the sea and the springs of water." Then another angel, a second, followed, declaring, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all nations drink of the maddening wine of her passionate unchastity." Idolatry. Then another angel, a third, followed them, saying with a mighty voice, "Whoever pays homage to the beast and his statue and permits the beast's stamp to be put on his forehead or on his hand, he too shall have to drink the wine of God's indignation and wrath, poured undiluted into the cup of his anger, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascends forever and ever, and they have no respite, no pause, no intermission, no rest, no peace, day or night. These who pay homage to the beast and to his image, and whoever receives the stamp of his name upon him. Here comes in a call for the steadfastness of the saints, the patience, the enduring of the people of God, those who habitually keep God's commandments and their faith in Jesus. Then I heard further, perceiving the distinct words of a voice from heaven saying, "Write this, blessed are the dead from now on who die in the Lord. Yes, blessed, happy, to be envied indeed, says the Spirit, and that they may rest from their labors, from their works, deeds. For their works do follow them." Again I looked, and behold, I saw a white cloud, and sitting on the cloud one resembling a son of man, with a crown of gold on his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand. And another angel came out of the temple sanctuary, calling with a mighty voice to him who was sitting upon the cloud, "Put in your scythe and reap, for the hour has arrived to gather the harvest, for the earth's crop is fully ripened." So he who was sitting upon the cloud swung his scythe on the earth, and the earth's crop was harvested. Then another angel came out of the temple in heaven, and he also carried a sharp scythe. And another angel came forth from the altar, the angel who has authority and power over fire. And he called with a loud cry to him who had the sharp scythe, "Put forth your scythe and reap the fruitage of the vine of the earth, for its grapes are entirely ripe." So the angel swung his scythe on the earth, and stripped the grapes, and gathered the vintage from the vines of the earth, and cast it into the huge winepress of God's indignation and wrath. And the grapes in the winepress were trodden outside the city, and blood poured from the winepress, reaching as high as horses' bridles, for a distance of 1,600 stadia, about 200 miles. Then I saw another wonder, sign, token, symbol in heaven, great and marvelous, warning of events of ominous significance. There were 7 angels bringing 7 plagues, which are the last, for with them God's wrath indignation is completely expressed, reaches its climax, and is ended. Then I saw what seemed to be a glassy sea blended with fire, and those who had come off victorious from the beast, and from his statue, and from the number corresponding to his name, were standing beside the glassy sea, with harps of God in their hands. And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Mighty and marvelous are your works, O Lord, God, the omnipotent. Righteous and true are your ways, O sovereign of the ages, King of the nations. Who shall not reverence and glorify your name, O Lord, giving you honor and praise and worship? For you only are holy. All the nations shall come and pay homage and adoration to you. For your just judgments, your righteous sentences and deeds have been made known and displayed. After this I looked, and the sanctuary of the tent of the testimony in heaven was thrown open, and there came out of the temple sanctuary the 7 angels, bringing the 7 plagues. They were arrayed in pure gleaming linen, and around their breasts they wore golden girdles. And one of the 4 living creatures then gave the 7 angels 7 golden bowls, full of the wrath and indignation of God, who lives forever and ever in the eternities of the eternities. And the sanctuary was filled with smoke from the glory, the radiance, the splendor of God, and from his might and power. And no one was able to go into the sanctuary until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were ended.